You can go ahead and switch to the other
We have been having a magical summer with the Houdini exhibition, so if you're here just for the show, after the show, please be sure to go through the Houdini exhibition as well. We've had a magical summer with Magical Mondays, where you can come on Mondays at 10:30 and learn magic tricks. And we have even more magic besides today for you in the future, so if you get hooked like all of us have, come back. So, one of the most intriguing parts of the Houdini exhibit is at the very end, where it highlights what Houdini did, Houdini's appearances in Atlanta. And Atlanta has been a magical city for some time, and that legacy continues because there are 2 thriving magic clubs here. And today we're honored that they're joining us for this program to produce a combined show to celebrate magic. So, next week we have Luck and Charms, a curious afternoon of magical mysteries. That is by Joe Turner, who is our fabulous magic expert for all of our programs. So I do want to say, on your chairs you found a survey, and we would love for you to fill that out, and we'll have baskets to collect them at the end, and pencils if you don't have them. And that lets us know what you think of us, and if you'll come back, and some of you may want to join our mailing list, so please fill out the surveys. And now I get to introduce your MC and host for today's show. He is past international president of the International Brotherhood of Magicians, a 3-time Greater Atlanta Magician of the Year. He's just been fantastic to work with. Please welcome Joe Turner.
Well, thank you so much. Good afternoon and welcome to the Breman Museum and the 2019 Atlanta Magic Spectacular. You're in for quite a show. I'll tell you more about it, but my job today is really not to do tricks or just really to entertain you that much. It's to get the guys on that are going to do the act. So let me start with our first act. Our opener today was invited to perform at the inaugural dinner in Washington, D.C. for President George W. Bush. Some years ago, he's appeared on CNN Headline News. He is, this is interesting for the Houdini folks here, he is a past national president of the Society of American Magicians, which is, in fact, the same office that Houdini held. You'll find out more about that when you go through the exhibition. But he is a fantastic performer. He's been seen in a dozen countries or more. Please put your hands together for my friend Dan Garrett.
What a fabulous looking crowd. I just got to get a picture, if you don't mind. Everybody get a little closer. Say magic. Magic. Good, perfect. I don't have a camera, but luckily I have a photographic memory. We're going to start out by doing stuff that you don't expect a magician to do. I mean, what you expect a magician to do is to take out a hat and produce a colorful little animal. I'm not that kind of magician. You don't want to see that anyway, right? Let's get it out of the way then. Right at first, get it out of the way. Cue. Hey, that's a 2. We've been messing around. Messing around with my hat back there. All right, all right. Here we go. The colorful little furry animal from the hat. One of these. This is my friend Chris. Oh, he's a little nervous. You got some cheese? Yeah, I got some cheese for you. Cheese? Cheese for you. I need all the cheese. Sorry. Ow! Bit me. Okay. I'm just going to have to take matters into my own hands and do my own little rabbit. You don't know what this is, do you?
It's a balloon.
Ow! You're right. But you'll never guess what this is. That's a middle C. In order to make a rabbit appear, a little bit of rabbit music. So, Zach, can I have some music, please? I don't have the music. I just like to see you freak out back there. The mystery of the little rubber rabbit. I used to blow up blimps for Goodyear. The rabbit's nose. The rabbit ears, because he doesn't have cable and TV yet. Okay, that wasn't lost on everything. The rabbit's neck. You know the rabbit's neck? They do. The forelegs of the rabbit. People ask, Dan, how long have you been doing this? Well, I've been doing it for about a minute and a half by the clock, which not only gives you the time, but the location. And we go with the 4 legs in front, 2 more legs in back. But 2 legs plus 4 legs makes 6 legs. Which doesn't make any sense. If you were standing in front of a group of people fondling a little rubber rabbit, you probably wouldn't make sense either. So here is a little rabbit with a glandular condition. Now, last year or so, a couple of years ago, the Society of American Magicians, on behalf of them and all magicians, got Congress to pass a resolution to make magic a legitimate art form. So now we could apply for grants and stuff like all of the allied arts. And magic is now officially an art form. We knew this all along, but Congress finally figured it out too. And so for that end, I'm going to try a little bit of traditional art. And at the same time, I asked someone earlier to help me out. So yeah, this is Gabby. Give Gabby a hand. over here to my office. And right over there is good. Now, Gabby, we haven't set up anything ahead of time, right? You weren't the one, there was another one. So I have here some marking pens, and you just hold on to those for now. We have a couple of frames and a couple of envelopes, as you can see. They are open on the end, but there's nothing in them. And you'll get to handle these in a minute to double check all of that. We'll begin with a little bit of art, and I'm going to ask you to pick one of the colors for me. All right, blue, all right? Hang on to that because you'll be needing that. And I'm going to pick a contrasting color, but it's pretty good for me. Gabby, smile. I'm going to give you draw a caricature. Do you know what that is? With a few bold strokes of the pen, Dan, the magician, born of seemingly normal parents, quickly sketches the caricature, starry eyes, that's important. Big smile, dazzling smile, hair, I do curly hair. It's called caricature license. And you're wearing shorts, but I just sort of faked it. So here he is, my caricature of Debbie. Never had a lesson. I'm going to sign my name on the back. That's D-A-N, Dan. So Gabby, you said you like to draw. That's all we talked about. We didn't say anything else. So it's your turn now, and we have another frame. So Gabby, I'd like for you, with the color that you chose, to draw a caricature of moi, of me. Dazzling smile. Don't forget the muscles. Oh yeah, I do have a mustache. There's a lot of smiles of appreciation for your hard work. Is she being unrealistic on the air? I thought so. Being more generous than she has to be. Oh, look at that. I think we have a winner. And you have to sign your work. All right, so here's what happens here, what transpires. You take these, I'll take the pen, and you hold up, just slide it on underneath, so that this goes into one envelope, that's your drawing with your name. I'll take the other envelope, face the, that's it, just like that, perfect. I'll take the other envelope, which is over here, and I'll put my drawing of Gabby, thusly, oh, sorry, out in front of me. Now, on the count of three, we're going to try the impossible, because this is just the art part, the magic part. So I can make my drawing of you change places with your drawing of me. That would be a miracle. You agree? I wish I could do that. I wouldn't be here, I'd be in like Vegas. But we'll try on the count of three. Do you know any magic words? Apparently they do. So okay, we'll count to three. And as soon as I say three, we'll lift these out very slowly at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, and they say the magic words. 3. I signed the back of this, you signed the back of that. She's incredible! You know, now I'm a magician. And you tell me how you did that, but I know you won't because magicians never tell their secrets, right? But to be an official magician, there's a little ritual you have to do, pull the rabbit from the hat. Ta-da, you're now a magician. sure to feed him one rubber band every day. Now, and in order to do this, my job is finished, but I do have another assistant, because this is a show and a great exhibition about Houdini. And if you haven't seen it, be sure to check it out. It's fantastic. But I have an assistant who's going to perform one of Houdini's outstanding and most dangerous stunts. Get in the hat. No, you belong in the hat. You sure? No, in the hat. I'm sorry. Okay, here. His name is AC. AC the Wonder Rabbit, and here he is. Everybody over here? Not everybody in economy class? AC is going to perform, for your entertainment pleasure, the Houdini rope escape. What? You didn't practice? You're supposed to practice. Yesterday, but you practiced. What were you doing yesterday? Fishing. I didn't know rabbits could fish. Did you catch a big fish?
How big was it?
How big? Thanks for that. How big really? How big? Did you really catch a fish? I apologize. So we're going to see the Houdini rope escape performed. Oh, excuse me, he's got a flu. Performed today without rehearsal and without a net. She couldn't make it to the show. Forget about the flu. It's a very dangerous illusion, and no rabbit in captivity. Pretty good. Give me that. Rabbits don't go on strike. Besides, he's got his lucky rabbit slip. Oops, wrong thing to say to a rabbit. What do you carry for good luck? What are you doing in there? Quit messing around with me. What? What do you carry for good luck? A big toe. Let's do it right. The Houdini rope escape. Hey, wait. That's not what I meant by rope escape. But this is the end of my performance here. Oh, you lucky rabbits. Oh, God, that's disgusting. So we got, I did for Gabby, she was great, wasn't she? She's great. So Gabby did, we did a balloon rabbit. So if you got a balloon, good. We're going to make a balloon animal by the rabbit, film at 11. Hang on to the hat. Hang on to the hat. Thank you. Good. This is the rabbit's first attempt at a balloon animal. How big you are? Bigger or bigger? Bigger. Hey, it's time to make me break the balloon in my nose. Tie out the end of the balloon. I apologize for my rabbit. I raised him from a baby bunny. He's an ingrown hair. What kind of balloon animal is that? Good hair, blimp. Well, goodbye from me, from AC. Don't worry, we've got some really fine entertainers following up. You've been great. Thank you very much.
Hey, Dan Garrett, we will give him another round of applause. All right, I'll tell you, Dan has been doing magic in the United States and around the world for many years. And I will tell you, a guy you might have heard of, David Copperfield, once said of Dan Garrett, who was doing some consulting for him, that Dan Garrett has one of magic's most creative minds. So we're real proud to have Dan here in the city of Atlanta as part of an amazing community of magicians. And why don't you thank him one more time so he can hear you back there. You may have there's several people on stage when I'm talking. We've got a whole lot of stuff going on because these kind of shows don't put themselves together just magically. It may look like that to you, but this show is a one-time only show. We don't do this show and take it on the road, these exact performers in this exact order all the time. We put it together specifically for today. So we're finding out where things go and trying to make things happen. And the way we're able to do that is because we have such a fantastic stage crew. Let me introduce you to them. We've got Clark. And that's it. That's our stage crew. And we should tell you, we got sound cues too. We got back in the booth, we got our good buddy Zach. Wait, there's Zach back there. Hey Zach, when's the first time you saw that board?
Like an hour ago?
Yeah, so we're putting this together on a wing and a prayer, but we know that you'll bear with us as we go forward in making all of these things happen. There's stuff that's happening backstage. People are frantically taking microphones off of one body and trying to attach them to another body before you can say, look at these split. So I think we're getting ready. I'm going to introduce you to a couple more people. Our next performers have been longtime members of the Atlanta magic community. One of them is the current president of the local chapter of the Society of American Magicians. We were talking about that earlier on. And then we had, he has also been involved with the national convention. He's performed in contests and won a number of contests. And our other performer in this act, it's a double act, is currently the regional vice president for the South Atlantic region of the Society of American Magicians. And together, these two guys put together an act earlier this year, and they took it to a magic convention. Now, before I go any further, I should tell you about a magic convention. We have conventions where magicians come together from around the state, around the country.
Hey, Joe. Joe, I'm so sorry. You're doing a heck of a job, and I wanted to thank you for the interview. I got this. And why don't you go? Brush your bow tie. You're all good. Good afternoon. From the four corners of the world, where the dark arts still hold sway, comes an individual who can bend the very fabric of reality. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give you Mr. Harry Houdini!
I have arrived. Let's get right into the magic. You, sir, got a single playing card here. Name any card you think this can be. Which one? Close. It's a bag of tea.
Did you like that? Of course you did. Everybody loves a magician.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harry Houdini.
H-R-R-I-N-G, Harry Houdini.
They call me the King of Cards.
The King of Cards.
The Cardfather.
The Cardfather.
When I was growing up, I didn't want to be a magician. I wanted to be a fish sandwich.
A fish sandwich.
They also call me the expert at the card table. Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, I am the only and world's greatest escape artist fish. There's nothing on this earth that can hold Harry Houdini.
Oh, yes?
What the? Time.
Well, that was 4 seconds.
World record. All right, let's do a classic of that.
Classic meaning it's been done before?
Not today.
Okay, you got me on that.
Have somebody take a look at those?
All right. Hey, sir. Did you examine this ring and this rhythm here? Yeah, that's good enough. No. I'm sorry. Go ahead, examine it. Ordinary? Perfect.
That's good. Thank you. Some music, please. Bonus. All right, we're going to do something else. I'm going to need the help of a lady tonight.
Okay, I can do it.
Number one, no, you're a dude. Number two, no, you're a dude. And number three,
Yeah, I get it. Hold on. Let me come on out here and find a female volunteer, someone willing, someone uninterested, someone single. Looking around. You, ma'am, hiding in the back. Yeah. Give her a nice round of applause.
what's your name? Hi, I'm Harry. Hey, quick question. How's it feel to finally get to meet you? Excuse me, tell them tonight. Thank you.
Hey, let me ask you a question before we start.
If you feel it, you must.
Have you ever seen that talking dragon that does magic?
Excuse me, no. Number one, they don't exist. They're mythical creatures. And number two, I am a fish. Number three, this ain't Disney World. I don't have to be nice to you.
Okay.
Hey, bottle. Bottle.
Oh, bottle.
Bottle. Is it empty?
Are you a fish?
No. Take a look at the bottle. Hold on to it just for a second. Make sure it's capped up. Is there anything inside? Good. Okay. We need a bag. Open the bag up. Place the bottle in it. Crumple the bag. Put it all the way down to the bottom. Crumple it all. Twist it around tight. Perfect. Fill the bag this. Also, we're going to help with somebody else.
Oh, yeah, no, I got it.
You know what?
Never need
that.
Look, someone else.
Get a guy this time.
Guy. I need a guy, young and single. Oh, no. You, sir. Yeah. That'll be cool.
Wait, I'll take it back.
Give him a nice round of applause.
On the other side of the line. What's your name? Cards.
Cards. Cards.
Perfect. Deck of cards. All different. We're going to go through the cards. You can say stop any time. Stop to every card. Hold on to them, shuffle them up. Don't be a show off. Shuffle them. Ready? There you go.
Give me a loud bit.
Go ahead and shuffle them up. Perfect. my hands, that mom's going to leave that bag, and fly through the air, land inside of those cards, it's going to find your card. Would that be a good trick? It'd be a heck of a trick. It's not going to happen. Okay. Here we go. Go! It didn't work, did it? Go! Okay, what was your card? I messed up. Okay, what's wrong?
It says you're not supposed to, it says never clap, only snap. Clapping is for the end of the trick.
Cheap bug. Okay, I screwed up. What happened? What was your card? Two of hearts. Look through there. See if there's a two of hearts anyplace inside of there. Two of hearts anyplace? You know what happened was that card left there. If you would, open the bag. You've been holding that the whole time, correct? Take the whole bag out of the other bag. Is there something inside of the bag? Take that out. Is the bottle still sealed? Is there a card inside? Thank you so much. My name is Harry Houdini.
And I am the hype man.
Hey, give another round of applause. I want to tell you who they really are. Come on back, Garrett, Ambrose, and Murl Harmon. Come on. Well, just clap for them. They're bowing backstage. That's fine. That's fine. Hey, I tell you, who was it that was, they were making the joke about the dragon. Now, I will confess, the first time I saw that costume, I thought it was a dragon too, and it reminded me of this time I was talking to my niece, who was about 6 years old at the time, and I said, so how are things at school today? What did you learn? And she looked at me and she said, well, learned about dragons. I was like, really? Your class learned about dragons? And she said, no, I learned about dragons. I don't know what they were doing. So that's an independent learner. That's a good thing. So I was telling you that they put that act together. This is not the first time that they performed it. They performed it up at a magic convention in outside Knoxville, Tennessee, earlier this year, and won first place in a contest with the Herring Houdini act. And we figured, since we have the Houdini exhibition, it would be appropriate for them to come and share Herring Houdini with you today. So give Herring another big Oh my gosh. You really don't want to see the descaling procedure that's happening back there. So that's actually kind of disgusting. But I promise the staff of the museum will have it all cleaned up. Speaking of the staff of the Breman Museum, I really want to say thank you to Leslie and to David and to Angela and Michelle and Susan and Adriana and Julie Zeff, who isn't here. I've been working with them really since January, working on the way we're going to fit the magic programming into this exhibition. They have been fantastic and so supportive of our clubs and of the art of magic in Atlanta. So please recognize them with a warm round of applause. Thank you all so much. And I see, people are nodding like we're getting. But let me tell you about this next guy. What you've seen so far is more traditional sleight of hand magic, where things appear and disappear and change and all of that sort of thing. That's a wonderful branch of the illusion art, sort of this conjuring. But there's another branch of the magic and mystery arts that has to do with, instead of illusions for the eye, it's illusions for your mind. Things about predicting and knowing what people are thinking and stuff like that. We call that mentalism. And our next performer is a professional mentalist based here in Atlanta. He performs at corporate events, fundraisers, private parties. He's been on Atlanta Magic Night a number of times, regular performer there. That's a local monthly magic show with a different cast every month, atlantamagicnight.com. And actually, he is also the president of the local chapter, Ring 9, of the International Brotherhood of Magicians. And in 2 weeks, he will also be the newest member of the executive committee of the IBM, so he's moving on up. Please put your hands together for my friend, Mike Dunagan.
have said, my name's Mike Dunagan, and I'm a mentalist. Now, I want to begin today by asking everybody here a question, but I want you to be honest. Have I come up to anybody before the show this afternoon and in any way tried to set something up in advance? And if I have, I want you to speak up. Anybody at all? No, I have not. There is nothing set up in advance about my show, and I think that's important to understand, because otherwise what we accomplish here over the next few minutes won't mean nearly as much. For example, let me see, you man with the blue top right here, second row, and the expression, oh my gosh, I think he's pointing at me. We obviously don't know each other, do we? No. And I have not come up to you before today and tried to set anything up. Great, I need a volunteer. Do you mind helping me? The good news is you can stay right there in your seat. Good, great. If you'll stand up for me, ladies and gentlemen, please give our first volunteer David, can I get you to come up with the house lights just a little bit? Or that's probably fine right there. Hi, I'm Mike. You are? Leslie. Leslie, very nice to meet you. Thank you so much for helping me. Leslie, I actually believe that predicting human nature is actually pretty easy to do. But you and I are going to put that to the test here today. Now, before we get started, I need to do a little housekeeping. I'm not an artist, but can you see that okay from where you are? Wonderful. Now, Leslie, if you would just make eye contact with me for a minute. I know it's painful, I'm sorry. All right, let's give that a try. So Leslie, I have just written a prediction on the back of this envelope. And we're going to get to that here in a few minutes. But first I want to explain to you what we're about to do. Now, in this envelope, I have 5 sheets of paper. On each sheet of paper is printed a single number, the numbers 1 through 5. In a moment, I'm going to start taking these out one by one and holding them up. When you see me hold up a sheet of paper that has the number on it that you want to select, and you want to be your choice, just say stop, nice and loud, all right? Whatever piece of paper I'm holding, whatever number is showing on that piece of paper will be your selection. Simple, right? All right, then let's give this a try. Leslie, let's start at number 1. Do you want number 1? You do not want number 1. All right, Leslie, if you can, speak up for me nice and loud so no one thinks I'm cheating. Leslie, do you want number 2? You do not want number 2. All right, we're flying through them. We're halfway home. Leslie, in that case, do you want number 3? Oh, interesting. Leslie, you're making me work for my lunch, huh? Now, what's interesting about number 4, Leslie, is you're really kind of making 2 decisions here, right? If you choose number 4, you're eliminating number 5. If you skip on number 4, then by default, number 5 is going to be your choice. So Leslie, the big question is, do you want number 4?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
All right. And that's good. I said wherever you stop me is where you stop me. Unfortunately, I also did say earlier that I thought human nature was, at least I used to think human nature was pretty easy to predict. But after this, I've got to tell you, I kind of still do. Leslie, number 4, praise God. Give Leslie a big round of applause. All right, that's fun. Off to a good start. It's always a good way to begin. Now I want to try and make things a little tougher on me here. So to do this, I'm going to need the help of 2 volunteers. Let's see. Sir, how about you at the 3rd row back, very end of the row? Do you mind helping me? Very good. Come on up. Actually, just pull up for me 1 quick second right there. So I want to find my other person before I pull you up. Let's see. Hiding at the end over here. Ma'am, do you mind helping me? Will you please stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, please give them both a great round of applause. And I have to clean up after everybody too. Thank you so much for joining me. You can stand right there. That'd be great. Hi, if you'll step down here, that'd be great too. I'm going to let you step. You'll stand right there. Now, tell you, if you'll take 1 step back so that everybody can see. No, that's like perfect. Stage direction, my strong suit. Thank you both for joining me up here. Now, in my first routine, I was dealing with a limited number of options, right? 5 different choices to be exact. This challenge promises to be much more difficult because, in effect, my volunteers' choices are limitless. Now, to my volunteers, I really need to probably apologize to you both. I realized when you came up on stage, I didn't introduce myself. I did shake your hand, at least that was good. And I didn't thank you for helping so much. But I also didn't ask you your names because I want to try and keep this absolutely as difficult for me as possible. So I don't even want to know your names. I also don't want to call you hey you the rest of the time that you're up here. So, appropriately enough, I'm going to give you both a stage. So, ma'am, you are now, so you're really funny if I hit your name. You are now going to be Julie. All right, you're Julie, well, as long as you're up here. You, sir, you're going to be Bill. All right, Julie and Bill. So, Julie and Bill, here's what we're going to do. In just a moment, I'm going to give you both a pen and a piece of paper. When I do, I'm going to ask you, actually, after I do, I'm going to move over there to the other side of the stage so that I can't see what you're doing. I'm going to keep my back to you. Then I'm going to ask you to write down the first name of someone who is important to you, but not here with you today in the audience. All right, so you're going to write down the first name of someone who's important in your life, but not here today. When you finish, I want you to fold the card up in thirds so that the name is on the inside. Make sense? All right. Card, a piece of paper, I mean, a pen for you, a pen, and a card for you. I'm going to excuse myself over here. This will probably do it. Go ahead and take the caps off your pens. And if you would, go ahead and write down the first name now of someone who's important to you but not here today. When you're finished, put the cap back on the pen and fold the card up in thirds so no one can see the name you've written down. Are you done? Please don't nod your heads because I can't see you. All right, good. I'm going to turn around. Everything safe? Perfect. So, Julie, give your pen to Bill. Bill, hand your sheet of paper to Julie. Julie, keep them closed. Now, I'd like Julie for you to put them behind your back, give them a mix. While I walk back over, Bill, I'll take my pens. Thank you so much. Julie, when you feel like you've given them a good mix, you can stop. You happy? All right, in that case, now I'm going to turn around and ask you to put them in my hands. It doesn't matter. You can put them up. They're perfect. There? Okay. Now, I don't want you to think that I don't trust you. However, I am going to give them one more good mix so that there's no chance even you know which sheet of paper belongs to which other. Right? That should do it. Now for the hard part. Which one am I going to work with? Normally I can kind of get a sense of which one. I'll take this one. I think this one. Bill, I want you to hold on to this nice and tight so no one can open it up. We're going to get rid of this one. Bill, I want you to think of the name that you've written down on your sheet of paper. In fact, I want you to think of the person that name refers to. I want you to see that person in your mind's eye. It's a female. I don't get the sense that it's a young girl. No, a little bit older. I'm not seeing, I don't think I'm seeing an older woman. I'll tell you what, focus on the name. I want you to, imagine you see large black letters on a white screen in front of you. See each letter, letter by letter. Okay. I'm hearing something, but you are not the clearest thought I've picked up in a while. I mean, clean thoughts, but not the easiest. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be on target or not, but I'm committed. It's written down. Bill, can I have a piece of paper, please? So, Bill, the question becomes, Marguerite. Who is Marguerite? Marguerite is your mother, and she's not here with us today. Wow, Bill, you did a perfect job. You thought of someone who was important to you, but not here today. You did follow my directions exactly. Amazingly enough, you even picked someone whose name is Marguerite. Ladies and gentlemen, Marguerite. I tell you what, I hate for you to leave without me getting a chance for this. So I tell you what, I'm going to give this, obviously your piece of paper is long gone, but I do want you to think of the name that you wrote down over. I want you to really think of it. In fact, imagine that this person just walked in the doors back there. Imagine that you want to get this person's attention. It's a woman, isn't it? All right, imagine you want to get her attention. Now, what I want you to do is in your mind, only in your mind, don't do it out loud, but imagine yourself yelling out her name right now. Yell it again. One more time. Wow. Oh, I don't know. Julie, in a nice loud voice, loud enough for everybody in the room to hear. This time, when I say now, I want you to shout that name out loud. And we'll see how this went. Shout it out now.
Rosemary.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rose Murl. Thank you so much for give them a great round of applause, please. Please give one of my volunteers a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Dunagan. I've had a blast with you have too. Please enjoy the rest of the show. Thank you so much.
Mike Dunagan, everybody. Give him another round of applause. Come on out, Mike. Take another bow. Come waving? Okay, he's good. Okay, so here's the thing. Have you had fun so far, by the way? Yeah. There's all kinds of stuff happening on the stage, and if you've liked what you've seen so far, stick with this because there's so much more to come. But right now, we're going to take about a 10-minute bio break to allow you and your loved ones to deal with the business of nature. And we will take care of some technical things on the stage, and we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Leifer, everyone, bring it back out with a round of applause. There she is. Fantastic. I know all the finance folks here at the museum will be seeing you afterwards about a donation. I can tell you that right now. Fantastic. Well, it's that time of the show where your humble MC gets to take just a little bit of time and do a little illusion for you. So I'm just going to step here where everyone can see. In my pocket, I have 4 cards. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards that are blue on the back. I want you in your mind's eye to imagine that these are the 4 queens. Queen of clubs, hearts, spades, and diamonds. So you've got the 4 queens. And here's a lady making eye contact with me on the front row. You don't have to come up. You don't have to come up. But I'd like you to imagine that I've taken 2 of the queens right here invisibly. Are these the red queens, ma'am, or the black queens?
The red.
These are the red queens. Excellent. I'm going to take 1 in each hand. And, oh, I dropped 1. Which one did I drop? I dropped the Queen of Diamonds. So this is the Queen of Hearts. That is correct. I'll turn it around so you can see. The Queen of Hearts. In fact, I'll stick the Queen of Hearts facing the wrong way back into the 4 queens. And you know I wouldn't want to lie to you for anything. So now that we give it a snap, one of those queens suddenly becomes visible. And of all the cards you can do, it is in fact the Queen of Hearts. I will confess to you, I had a feeling that you were going to say the Queen of Hearts because I brought that one from a different deck. In fact, so sure was I that you were going to choose the Queen of Hearts that I didn't even bring any other queens. So that is the Queen of Thank you. That's what we call stalling. The pros, we can know how to do that. Well, it's my pleasure now to introduce you to someone that I know a lot of you in this audience already know. He is 17 years old. He is a rising senior at the Galloway School over in Sandy Springs. He is someone who's been recognized as a future star of tomorrow by the Society of American Magicians a couple years ago at one of their conventions. And in fact, he won first place in close-up magic at Tannen's Magic Camp in Philadelphia. And in fact, this is not his first time to perform on the stage. Some of you may recall about 4 years ago, he had his bar mitzvah. And the day after his bar mitzvah, he's on the stage doing a magic show that he put together. He raised $6 grand for 2 charities. So how about that? Yeah, the staff will be looking for a donation from you too, so they've got the feelers out. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my friend Ari Isenberg.
Thank you, Joe, for the amazing introduction. Again, this is really great to be here. The last time that I was on this stage was 4 years ago for the benefit show, which I did after my bar mitzvah. But I know you guys have seen some mentalism today, so I'm going to do some really quickly right now. And you guys are like, when is this show going to end? So I'm going to show you something really quick to start off with here. I know you have seen some mentalism today, but if you all are familiar with the deck of cards, you just need one person to raise your hand. You can stay in your seat. Yes, ma'am, right there. You can stay right where you are. What's your name?
Madison.
Madison? Madison, we didn't talk before the show, right? Madison, if I were to ask you to name one of the 52 playing cards, which card would you name?
The 2 of hearts.
The 2 of hearts. Perfect. Would you like to change your mind? I want to give you a completely free choice. The 2 of hearts. Okay, so Madison said the 2 of hearts. Madison, would it be cool if before this, I went through the deck, I pulled one card out, and it was the 2 of hearts? That'd be pretty cool, right? Guys, look, under this silk, inside the glass, which I haven't touched the whole time yet. Madison, you said the 2 of hearts? Well, it's the Joker, but that would have been cool, right? Okay, bear with me for a second. The Joker, right, it's the guarantee card. It can really become any card, right? So if you said the 2 of hearts, it can, so technically it's the 2. Okay, you guys aren't impressed. Check this out, watch. 2 of hearts, right? One, 2, 3. Great, so I brought something with me here today that I think almost everybody has seen before and might be familiar with. I'm going to need somebody to help me in just a second, but I'm going to ask for somebody who is maybe a little older, but you'll understand why you're coming up in just a moment. This thing that I brought here with me today is a Rubik's Cube. Is everybody familiar with one of these? So they're lots of fun to kind of twist up and mix up, and then you solve them. There are people who have world records, which are crazy. Right now, I believe the world record for solving a Rubik's Cube is under 4 seconds. And it's absolutely crazy. You can look up the video on YouTube. It's a world record of somebody solving the cube under 4 seconds. There are also machines which people have programmed to look at the stickers on all of the sides of the cube and solve it in, I don't know, maybe less than 2 seconds, less than 1 second. Robot arms that come over and it's completely solved. Super crazy. I'm not going to be doing any of that for you, but because I am a magician, so I thought that I would try to solve the cube by magic. But first, I did say I'm going to need somebody to help me. Please raise your hand if you would think that at this present moment it would be impossible for you to solve the cube. I'm going to need somebody a little older to help me. Yeah, you sure? What's your name?
Zach.
Zach, guys, give Zach a big round of applause. Awesome, yeah, so as Zach makes his way onto the stage, I have been actually practicing solving the cube for a while. but I didn't think it would be as impressive if I just solved it regularly. Zach, thank you for coming up. Zach, if you wouldn't mind, I'll just start to mix the cube up a little bit. But if you could please, just start to mix the cube up to your heart's content. Now, the really cool thing about a Rubik's Cube is that you can see the many different stickers on all the 6 sides, the 6 different colors. The Rubik's Cube can be mixed up into, I think it's 413 like quintillion or quadrillion combinations. That's so hard to comprehend. So to put it kind of into perspective, if you held a Rubik's Cube from the moment you were born to the moment that you died, even the amount of time, if you were alive, as long as the universe has been a thing, and you twisted one side for every second of that amount of time, you wouldn't be able to reach every combination that the Rubik's Cube can be mixed up into. Absolutely crazy and really hard to imagine. But Zach, you think the cube is mixed up now? Awesome. I'm going to take the cube and I'm going to try, Zach, if I can solve it by magic. Place it into the bag. I know you all have heard some magic words today. I'm not going to use any, just a snap. We'll see, Zach, if we can take the cube and solve it. Sorry, did somebody say something about the bag? There's nothing in the bag. Oh, I'll turn it upside down. Look. Nothing inside. Okay, yeah, there is another cube. Yeah, there was another cube. I performed this for some 5-year-olds last week. Fooled them. I knew you guys were smart. Just as a joke. But so Zach, if you wouldn't mind actually come right over here. I did actually want to kind of try and solve the cube for you all today. If you will give me a moment, Zach, do you have your phone on you? Okay, Zach, if you wouldn't mind going into the stopwatch or timer on your phone. My personal record actually for solving the cube is I think 45 seconds. I've been practicing a lot. Oh, thank you. Now, that isn't as impressive as the less than 4 seconds record, but I thought that I would try to beat my 45-second record for you all today. So, Zach, give me a second. I'll tell you when to go. I'm just going to look at all the sides of the cube first. You mixed very well. Second side, third side. You can see the 2 whites right there. I'll keep that in mind. And the 2 yellows. 4, 5. Okay, Zach, when I say go, I want you to hit start on the stopwatch, and then obviously when I say stop, you can stop it, right? Everybody ready? I'm going to try to beat my 45-second time here. Go. Stop. Okay, Zach, what time did you get?
24.58.
Pretty good. Zach, you look a little confused, and I can tell everybody else in the audience is a little confused as well. I forgot to explain that the easiest way, right, to solve a cube is by getting all the same colors on each of the sides, right? Zach, I just changed up the solution a little bit. So you can see one side, two sides, now I do feel a little bad. I didn't actually solve the cubes for you guys today, so if you give me just a second. You can actually see both cubes now completely. Now I'm going to need one other person to help me. Again, somebody a little bit older who thinks, again, at this present moment, that it's impossible for them to solve the cube. Yeah, guys, raise your hands. I didn't see somebody. Yes, sir. What is your name?
Austin.
Austin, would you mind joining me on stage, guys? Give Austin a big round of applause. Austin, all right, thank you so much. Now, Austin, you think it's presently impossible for you to solve the cube, right? Okay, now, I want to try a little bit of an exercise with you. I'm going to get you to mix the cube up behind your back. Now, most of the time, when we mix up a cube or try to actually solve a cube, we very methodically look at the sides, right, and try to figure out what to do to try and solve it, right? We have to look very carefully to do that. But I'm going to kind of not allow you to do that by having you do that behind your back, right? So, Austin, what I would like you to do is, in a second, I'm going to give you, again, you stay right here so you can see. I'm going to hand you the cube behind your back. You hold it with both hands. And what I'd like you to just start to do is just start to turn it like this. And it might seem pointless. You really just turn the cube like this until your heart's content, and I'll kind of guide you along. And it may seem pointless at first, but you'll understand in just a minute. So, Zach, you can place your cube, or sorry, Austin, if you can place your hands behind your back. I'm going to take the cube, and if you could please hold on to that. And yeah, Austin, you can just start to turn the cube around and start to twist perfect, just like that. Now, Austin, you said that you think that it's presently impossible for you to solve the cube, right?
Yes.
Now, I don't fully understand this. It's something about psychology. You can turn the cube as slowly or as fast as you would like, completely up to you. I don't fully understand this, but psychologists have said that, like, we've heard this probably before, what you believe will come true, right? And if you believe something negative, then that'll also happen, right? So, at the moment, you're kind of in a negative mindset that you can't solve the cube, right?
Yeah.
But Austin, I'm going to help you get into a positive mindset, right? So I'm going to ask you some simple questions. First, do you think that most mixed cubes can be solved?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And secondly, do you think that with enough time, and you keep turning the cube perfect, do you think with enough time in practice and teaching that you could learn how to solve the cube?
Yes, I did.
Okay, awesome. Now, Austin, what I'd like you to do is close your eyes, and whenever you feel like it, keeping this positive mindset, you can stop turning the cube. Yeah, close your eyes. Perfect. Now, keeping this positive mindset, what kind of psychologists have said is if you believe something positive, you'll be able to kind of manifest it into real life. So, Austin, if you please could keep your eyes closed, but take the cube, or actually, just one second to make sure that the audience knows, how many times approximately do you think you turn the cube?
Good 38, 39, 40.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. So, Austin, if you could please now, keeping your eyes closed in this positive mindset, take the cube and hold it above your head. Austin, open your eyes. Guys, give him a big big applause for Austin. Now, I know my time is wrapping up a little here, but I brought something special for you guys today. I feel kind of bad. You guys have seen a lot of magic today. You just kind of saw a bunch of things up here. And I actually was very fortunate. Some of you I maybe saw this past Monday. Actually, in the exhibit, I actually taught 2 tricks. And that's okay, because it was a formal thing. But if you know, most magicians say that you can't teach people how you do your tricks because you got to keep the secret and all that. And you're really not supposed to do that in a show. But since we are here today, I thought I would bring something to teach you guys. So I'm gonna perform it really quick, and then I'll teach you guys how it's done. You guys good for that? Okay, awesome. So it uses a few things. We'll start off with this silk here. Some of you may have seen this before, but place it into your hand very carefully, so everybody can see this silk into the hand. Now, some magicians, they use really big, giant magic wands, sometimes that are a little heavy. My magic wand is a little lighter. Okay, so watch this. Check this out. You don't actually have to use this, but I just think it's a little cool. If you take some heat and wave it under your hand, you can actually get the silk to turn into an egg. Thank you. So the cool thing is, I did just perform this for you guys, but I got special permission to teach it to you. We'll go through a very quick run through. You will need kind of a lighter or magic wand. I'll get to that in a second. But the main thing you're going to need here, which you all can see, is actually a plastic egg with a hole in the back. So you guys can get these kind of like from Party City, an Easter egg, something like that. Obviously, don't get one of the yellow or green or purple ones, or else it won't look like a real egg. But you want to make sure to cut a hole in the back, which is a good size for the silk, and you want to keep that kind of tightly in your hand so that nobody can see, right? But you want to make sure that the hole is pointing towards you. I'm just going to poke it out here so everybody can see. Then you get some kind of fabric or silk like this, and you're going to want to carefully push it into the hole like this. Again, you want to make sure nobody can see the egg, but you do want to keep that careful and push the silk right into the hole there. It's pretty easy. Now, again, you want to keep that hidden in your hand so that nobody can see it. And now again, I give you guys permission. You can steal the lighter joke if you want. If there are any kids in the audience, be sure to get your parents' permission, or you can just use like a pencil or a magic wand if you have that. I just like to use the joke. But then I wave that under my hand, and then again, being careful to make sure nobody sees the hole at the back of the egg. You're going to want to turn the egg around like this, and it looks like the silk has turned into an egg. Pretty cool, right? You all are probably wondering, though, what happens in an emergency situation, right? If somebody sees the hole in the back of the egg and they see the silk, right? That's a big problem. So I've come up with a little bit of a solution. I'll show it to you right now. If you take the silk, you want to push it back into the egg. Remember, this is only for emergency situations if somebody sees the hole in the back of the egg, but I'm sure you all will practice and nobody will see the hole. But again, just for emergency situations. So if somebody sees the hole in the back of the egg, you're going to need two special things. One is that lighter from before, and another is a bowl. So again, remember, this is only for emergency situations. If somebody sees the hole with the silk in it at the back of the egg, check this out.
Before we introduce our last act, while they're getting set, I'd like to call your attention to some of the other amazing things that are happening here at the Breman Museum. As you heard Ari talk about, we've got Magical Mondays. Magical Mondays every Monday, or almost all the Mondays throughout the course of the exhibition. At 10:30, we are actually having magic classes that are suitable for kids and adults. We've been doing this since we opened the exhibition. It is fun for you to come and learn how to do some magic. We would love to have you get the experience of learning how this art form actually works, learn some magic that you can take with you. We'll provide a website that you can check after the fact if you forgot how it works, so you can review the instructions. So that happens on Mondays. Next Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock in this same location, there's another magic show called Luck and Charms. There was some information about that on your chair, so please tell your friends, and let's try to get a bunch of y'all back here next Sunday afternoon. We're going to have a great time. And of course, we've got plenty of lectures about Harry Houdini. We've got one specific one coming up called Peeking Behind the Veil in Search of Cecilia. Cecilia was Harry Houdini's mom. Houdini had an amazing love for his mother as well as his wife. They're the two most important women in his life. And he spent a lot of time researching ways to try to communicate with his mom after she died. Was he successful? Did he believe in it or not? And what did he do with that? We're going to find out all about that in a lecture by Rolando Santos later in July, which you can find out on thebreman.org. Well, now it's my pleasure to introduce to you this afternoon's final performer. He is a professional mentalist. He's also a producer. He's produced his own sellout show called The Magicians, where he and some of his friends did some amazing shows there. He has performed for corporations such as Microsoft, Puma, the Atlanta Hawks. He's been on Atlanta Magic Night a couple of times. You're going to have a great time with the mentalism of Augustus Graves.
How's everyone doing? There we go, that's what I'm talking about. So as you heard from Joe, I am a mentalist. Yes, I know another one, right? Here's what we're gonna do. Because everyone freaks out at this moment because everyone wants to know who's first. I know you're all thinking, I can read minds. I know this. The answer to that question is all of you. So if you are able to, please stand up. We're gonna play a game I used to play with my father when I was a little kid. He would give me a small little object, I'd mix it up behind my back, bring both hands forward, and he'd guess which hand the little item is in. So we're gonna play that on a larger scale today, okay? So I want everyone to imagine that they have something small that they can hold in their hands. Mix it up behind your back, and when you're ready, bring both hands forward. Fantastic, fantastic. So, I don't know if you guys caught on to what I was doing. I've been trying to influence you. I've been trying to influence which hand you put it in. Notice I positioned myself on this side of the stage, on the right-hand side. So if you put that object in your right hand, please have a seat. Statistically, about 50% of the room. That's about right. Every show, there's always one person who lies in the first round just to stay in the game. So if that's you, have a seat. Yep. There's always one. Round two, ready? Take it behind your back, mix it one more time. Please don't put it in your pocket. I know it's imaginary, but some people think to do that. I don't know why. Bring them both forward. Now, a lot of you are stubborn. You would have done the same thing. You would put it in your right hand again. If you did, have a seat. Okay, it's a tough crowd. Let's do this. I'm going to pick from one of you, actually. Sir, seated right here. If you don't mind, would you mind coming up here and helping me? Give him a huge round of applause. Everyone else can have a seat. Come on up, my friend. What's your name? Alex? One more time for Alex, ladies and gentlemen. And face forward. Lights are pretty high, aren't they? Yeah, okay. Fantastic. Face the back. Look straight at the back wall. We're going to try a little experiment with you today. In fact, we're going to continue the game. I actually have a real point here. I want you to grab that, and I want you to mix it up behind your back. Let me know when you're done. So, I'm going to teach you guys how the game is played. The point of the game is you want them to focus on something other than the item that's in their hand. So, when you're ready, bring both hands forward. I want everyone here to think of an animal. And on the count of three, we're all going to shout it out at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3. I heard an alligator and I heard an elephant somewhere near the back. So here's what we're going to do. Separate your hands slightly. So if the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of an elephant. If it's in this hand, I want you to think of an alligator. Got it? Face the back of the room. Now I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm on stage so I can see it closer. His eyes opened up slightly, so that means he's looking at something bigger. Elephant compared to an alligator, an elephant is bigger. He's thinking of an elephant. The coin is in this hand. Show it to everyone. Excellent. Good job. Let's do it again. This time, I want everyone to think of something to eat. Okay? Bring them both forward when you're ready. 1, 2, 3. Shout it out. Skittles and snaps. I don't even know what that is. Skittles and snaps. So focus, concentrate. So if the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of Skittles. If it's in this hand, I want you to think of snaps. Whatever that is. Concentrate, concentrate. Open your mouth slightly. He's salivating quite a bit in there. That means he's thinking of something. Are snaps sweet? Maybe? Not as sweet as Skittles, right? He's thinking of Skittles. He's salivating a lot. It's in here. Show it to everyone. Excellent, excellent. Let's do it one more time. This time, let's do celebrities. So I want everyone here to think of a celebrity. On the count of three, we're going to shout it out. 1, 2, 3. I heard Santa Claus and I heard Taylor Swift over here somewhere. America's sweetheart, what can I say? Bring both hands forward. So concentrate again on the object. Focus. Ooh, he's doing a poker face thing. Concentrate. Concentrate. Be honest. Just by I can tell by your shoes you do quite a bit of walking, don't you? Yeah. Too much this week. Also, you look, are you studying right now? Are you in school? Excellent, college. What are you studying?
Going for social work.
Social work, fantastic, give it up for this. Keep concentrating on this, keep concentrating on this. This is gonna sound weird, can you flex your arm while you have it up? Yeah? Okay, wonderful. You go to the gym pretty often, don't you? Not anymore. Can you lift your leg up like this? Go ahead. Higher, I know you can. Do you do? Okay, right there. Mm-hmm. Is there some discomfort there? Is there a doctor in the house? Okay, you can put it back down. The reason I did that, because I kind of saw as you walked up here, you kind of had a little bit of a link going to you. Do you do like some form of like fighting, maybe like karate? Excellent. Face forward. Can you concentrate on the jiu-jitsu? You do jiu-jitsu, don't you? Excellent, excellent. Keep concentrating on which hand the coin is in. Okay, so here we go. What do we say? Santa and Taylor Swift? If the coin is in this hand, I want you to think of Taylor Swift. If it's in this hand, I want you to think of Santa. You want to shake it off, don't you? Show it to everyone. Taylor Swift. Give it up for her. Give it up. Excellent. Thank you so much. One more time for Alex, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, Alex, real quick, before you go all the way back there, you can stand right there. Did you just celebrate a birthday?
I did.
You did? This month?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somewhere in the middle of the month, maybe the 13th or 14th, is that right? Close. 15th? Okay, I'm just shooting for something right now. Who did you come with? Can you stand up for just a moment? I'm gonna try something. I'm not going off on a tangent here. You both came, how long have you guys been together? Almost 5 years. Give it up for them. Let's do something, what would be something cool to guess? Like maybe your first bet? First bet? Can you think of your very first bet? The name of your first bet? Okay. I'm trying to get close to the light. It's a shorter name, right? Can you mix the letters around in your head and stop on anyone? Stop. Did you go for an S? No. But there is an S somewhere in the middle, right? I think I have enough. What was the pet's name? Rosie? Like this? Give it up for these two. Give it up for these two. Let's take it a step further. Who else is celebrating a birthday this month? In the month of June? Right here? I saw a hand go up right here. Yes, excellent. Would you mind standing up for just a moment? What is your name? Amy. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Amy. Amy, you had a birthday this month. Can you count out loud to, let's say, 25, as quick as you can? Stop. Your birthday was on the 12th, wasn't it? Yes, it was. Okay. Can you concentrate? Thank you. Can you concentrate on, let's do something juicy. Can you think of the name of, let's go for your first crush. Can you think of that? She's like, I don't know. That's a long time ago? Fair enough. Can you hold your hand up? Other hand up too? Strange. Are you an audiologist? No. Oh. That's where I'm catching it from then. Can you stand up for me as well, sir? Okay. So you're thinking of your crush. I want you to think of your first crush as well. Can you do that for me? Okay. I don't know if I'll be able to get both of you. I'm only going to go for one. This only works with you because you're taller and you're closer to me, okay? Be honest, does this person's name start with an A? It does. We're on the right track. Can you close your eyes? And actually, can you face that wall? I don't want you to see how my pen is moving. Excellent. So this is what I'm getting. See that? You can turn back around. For the first time out loud, what was her name? Alana. It gets better. It gets better. We booked her a trip. Alana, can you bring her out? Can you bring her out? Totally kidding. Just happy birthday, guys. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for being with us. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is my... Oh. Almost forgot about this. Did you guys catch this as they brought it up? Turns out it is important. So remember the game we were playing earlier with the coin? We came up with three things. The first one was an elephant, right? Then it was a skittle. And then, oh, did I spell skittles? Get the idea. And then the last thing, the celebrity was Taylor Swift. That's what it was. Taylor Swift. Okay. So these were the three things, randomly. You guys shouted all this out. We had no idea which hand Alex was going to have the coin in. Ladies and gentlemen, before I got here today, I took the liberty of writing down something for you guys. And the first thing I wrote was elephant. The next thing, Skittles. And then last, and certainly not least, ladies and gentlemen, Taylor Swift. Thank you guys so much for being with us today. Thank you for your talk. Good night.
Keep it going for Gus Belgrave. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. And it's my pleasure now to let you show your appreciation to all of our acts. So let's bring them back out. Start with Dan Garrett. Come on out, Dan. Next we have Murl, Harmon, and Merritt, Ambrose. Please welcome Dunagan. Next up, Leifer. We have Ari Isenberg. And Gus Belgrave. My name is Joe Turner. Thank you for coming to the 2019 Atlanta Magic Spectacular. Thank you all very much. Thank you so much.
You
ladies and gentlemen, St. Michael, the mediocre. Well, my part is
Okay, these were just all center here.